How you doing? Welcome to Let's Get Stringing. Today I have one of my radicals from 2000. I believe this is the 2021 version, Radical MP. 98 square inch, 16 by 19 string pattern. It's 300 gram on strong weight, I think. I got it customized to 331 grams strong weight. That's including the dampener, balance of 12.9 inches. I believe that's 5 or 6 points headlight. I'd have to look it up. My trusted chart. I'll link it over here. And swing weight on it is about 331, depending on what string and gauge I put on it. Currently it has Hybrid G 17 gauge. It was last strung in September, on September 7th, with Solingo Hybrid G at 48 pounds. So this time around I'm gonna cut it out and put this Babolat RPM Blast plus the VS Touch Gut hybrid on it. I got it off of Amazon for a pretty good price. The RPM Blast is 17 gauge and the Gut is 16 gauge. So before I get the string started, I usually will prep the soft strings like Natural Gut or the multi-filament a little bit. I'll take it out, cut it to the appropriate length. This will already be in the right length because it's half and half hybrid pack. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it around my pole back there in my basement. Just give it a little bit of gentle yank with my body weight, not too much. And I'm gonna also do 10% pre-stretch, machine pre-stretch while I pull the tension. I'll turn the 10% pre-stretch setting on the machine. And without further ado, let's get going with the stringing. Okay, here we go. Head logo side up. Okay, this racket has 8 grommet holes through the throat. So we're gonna go through the top first. Gonna make an angle cut on the ends of the string to make it weave through holes easier. Gonna string the tension at 54, 55. 54 for the Natural Gut, and 54 for the Natural Gut, and 50 for the RPM Blast, excuse me. And gonna try and protect the gut and protect the frame with this DIY bottle cork that I made. It has a hole through the middle. Maybe I should cut a slit on the side so I could weave through it easier next time. So you see, this almost came unravel on me, so I have to really be careful, make sure that doesn't happen. Don't pull on the Natural Gut anywhere too hard. Okay, that should do the trick. I'm going to set my tension to 54 pounds with 10% pre-stretch. I used to do 15% pre-stretch on some customers' rackets. The one time, customer had a complaint saying that both rackets were strung by me at different times, and the one that was strung at 15% pre-stretch ended up much stiffer. It was bothering his arm, and the only difference I could remember was that they were definitely strung at the same tension. It's just that I did the one of them with 10% pre-stretch and the other one with 15% pre-stretch, and that was enough of a difference for him to feel in his arms. So since then, I'm trying to not overdo it with the pre-stretch, especially not on the polyester strings. I don't pre-stretch polyester ever now, co-polys, unless somebody specifically tells me to. I checked the screws inside the clamp just a few minutes ago, and they were tight. Sometimes I find that on these Tomcats, the clamps, the two tiny screws inside need to be retightened after every so many string jobs, because they loosen up. They do. Okay, let me just pull one more here. Tighten this just a little bit to help with to prevent the slippage situation. I see it was still doing it. All I could do is make sure that there's a set screw on the ends of this. For example, with this one, yeah, there's a set screw here. I have to make sure that that's really absolutely tight. And I'll check that as soon as I release that clamp later. Let me go ahead and pull this side. Yeah, this side didn't have that problem. This natural gut is coated with some bluish gray paint, and as they get clamped inside a gripper, the gripper makes a mark on it. Some of the paint comes off. Yeah, that's because they were colored. I have to say that Wilson gut is much more durable than the Babolat. I remember using this VS Gut previously, and it was the same thing. It comes undone much easier, so I have to pay even more attention to prevent that from happening. Especially with this loop here. If I go and pull on that loop, it definitely kink it and cause it to unravel. Maybe that's why it costs less than the Wilson or the Luxilon Gut. Find out how it plays and report back once I play test it. I believe it's this side. Just tighten up on that post there. It was still making that one click. I don't know what's doing that. Taking the time to tighten this one up too. Maybe it's not on there straight, but I remember last time trying to remove that whole post, I wasn't able to, so I didn't mess with it. See, this post barely even moves. Okay, so the 8th string is going to go into the 9th grommet hole, skipping the 8th grommet hole at the head as well as at the throat. And we're going to give it a 10% tie off knot tension added. Same thing for this side, add 10% more. I have to try and remember which clamp it is, otherwise I might forget. So I'm installing this RPM blast on top of the Natural Gut now. They're both similar color. It's kind of hard to tell which is which, but I do have the Natural Gut in the mains. I like to have gut in the mains because if it was the other way around, to have poly in the mains, it'd be sitting on top of the gut. For somebody who relies on topspin generation during play, I need the main strings to be able to move and snap back. From my experience, stringing the hybrids, putting the polys in the crosses or any more soft string like multifilament in the crosses below the poly mains, it seems to me that it traps the poly in, prevents it from moving. I mean, I could get that feeling from stringing them already. It's harder to keep the mains straightened out if they were the polys, because they get trapped by the multifilament. Why is that important? Because when we play, we mostly rely on, I mean, for most people, as far as my understanding goes, the main string has more effect compared to the cross strings. I would guess maybe 40% of the effect comes from the crosses and 60% comes from the main strings. I'm gonna go ahead and switch off my 10% pre-stretch for the cross because I don't need that for the poly. I'm pulling this V first in a V pattern. This way it prevents the natural gut from being scratched up and making that horrible scratching sound. Gonna tie off the first string right now. I do believe that on the more expensive tour level machines, the clamps are much better built than this one. I mean, this is just an economical stringer that I got it for cheap. So maybe they can better trust their clamps to be more reliable and more robust, that I don't have to check them every time. But I would have to think that as part of doing maintenance, it's always good to verify things, especially when they're stringing for tournaments or professional players that rely on quality string jobs. And the dynamic tension that I get out of every string job, I read on a Facebook group where there's tournament level stringers. They said that some players demand or rely on a difference of string bed dynamic tension of no more than 1 unit difference across different machines or different strings. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that tournament stringers, they would have to measure the dynamic tension after their string job. Especially, we often see professional players on tour. They send their rackets in for stringing in the middle of the match. I didn't think they would have time to sit there and wait for somebody to check the DT on the racket before it gets brought back on court. Maybe on their daily restrings and like multiple rackets, maybe at the end of the day or the morning in the tournament. That's when they do it, probably. One thing about gut strings that stays very straight. See, when I put it in the mains like that, if it was the opposite way, with poly in the mains and the gut and the crosses, I guarantee I would have a hard time trying to straighten out the poly. Because I just did a hybrid setup like that a couple of days ago. I was like trying to straighten out the mains. The way it is with the gut mains right now, it doesn't need any straightening. I only have to do the crosses, it appears. See, can you just imagine if this poly string were in the mains? Because the soft natural gut just keeps the polys trapped in. And it forms a groove. See how when I move it out of there, it forms a groove. Like if it's crooked, you don't want that to sit in that crookedness for too long, because pretty soon it gets trapped in place and you can't move them. That's good enough. That lever just hit me in the knuckle again. One, two, three, four. I got 4 crosses left. Yeah, should be all right. I just won't be able to pre-weave the last few though. This might be the last one I can pre-weave. Ah. If you find that the issues that I go through with my stringing, if you find it helpful or have any questions, please comment below. I'd like to see what your thoughts are, or if there's you got a better way of doing things, any tips and tricks that I should know about. I'd like to learn from you as well. I think my average stringing speed per racket is right about half an hour to 35 minutes now. If it goes over 40 minutes, that means there's some issues. But if everything goes smooth, I can get it done in half an hour. I think that's pretty good. Before I tie it off, I should check, make sure I didn't make any mistakes anywhere. This is a good looking string bed because the colors are pretty even. You can't tell which one's natural gut, which is poly. If I don't tell them, I mean, if nobody points it out. So things look good right now. I just have to tie it off. Between this model and my newest 2023, the Auxetic Radical MP, I like them both. The Auxetic MP, Radical MP, is more comfortable, perhaps a little bit more springy, just a little bit more comfortable. But perhaps this one is I don't know if they're all like that, but at least on mine, this one is just a little bit less polarized. You're able to drive the ball straighter. Of course, it all depends on the customization that's been done on it, lead placement and everything, and it all has an effect on the balance, which affects the recoil weight calculation and the MGR over I calculation. Especially if you have these lead at the 3 and 9 o'clock position, that affects the twist weight too. So I don't have them on both of my rackets. I don't have them all at the same places because normally I try to shoot for a set of specs that I try to match. So depending on what that spec requires, I place the lead at different positions. So the final twist weight or recoil weight or MGRI, I like to keep them as close to matching as possible, but that's not always possible. Also, the other issue is that player at my level, I shouldn't be caring about no MGRI. Most people don't. We're not professionals, but I do start to look at twist weight and recoil weight though. I mean, even recoil weight, a lot of people don't believe in it. I spent a lot of time reading this guy Brado on the talktennisforum.com. He makes some sense, but the controversy is that the recoil weight calculation only matters because when the racket spins along its balance point. However, when we play tennis, we don't swing the racket at its balance point. The racket is swung above our hands, which is 4 inches to 7 inches above the grip, above the bottom of the grip. That's why some people tend to believe in the MGRI calculation even more than the recoil weight calculation. I mean, I'm no physicist or scientist, so I'm just sharing the information off the top of my head. So we're all set. Oh wow, this is on there tight. I can't even get it out. We're all set. Thank you very much for watching, and happy stringing, happy hitting. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you next time. Feels good.